Can you see my screen? Catherine,
Yes,
would you mind telling me what's on that screen? What are you seeing?
I see ignite, spark, or skills to spark a great career. Session 5, generate your leads.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're gonna allow people to jump in while they're doing so, and I'm admitting folks. Does anybody want to tell me about a win that they had or an aha from yesterday? Here's the thing about me as an instructor that you're either going to come to love or mildly dislike is that I love calling on people, especially the people that don't have their cameras on. Oh, it's my favorite thing to do. I just call on people and I call on people, and oh, it's so much fun for me.
I was gonna say I'll go if no one else wants to.
Thank you, Catherine. Brownie points.
All right. So something that resonated with me yesterday was, I mean, first of all, I thought Brandon was awesome. I had never met him before, so I thought he was a great instructor. I don't know about everyone else, but his vibe was just excellent. So it was a great class last night. But one thing that took away was the 1,000 hours for me. He was like, you can master anything in 1,000 hours. And I just really haven't been able to stop thinking about that since. So I don't know about anyone else, but that was majority what resonated with me last night.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because I mean, when you think about some of the people that you know that have done things and have taken 10,000 hours to master it,
Yeah.
it's they've gotten to a point where they can't undo it in a sense, right?
I was
Even when
thinking back
they
about how many things like what have I mastered now and what I want to master in the future, So it's like I've become a master of many things, but I'm looking forward to be a master in real estate. So it was interesting and a different kind of take on things. So
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate you
yeah,
participating. That's going to be a big part of this. I'm sure that Brandon said the same thing last night. The participation is what makes these sessions what they are, right? You could go
yeah,
through this 4 times and you'll get something different out of each one based on the different people that are in it, right? And the questions that are asked and the amount of participation that's had. So I appreciate you starting
definitely.
us off on that great foot.
All right, thank
Anybody
you.
else with an aha?
I think a big aha for me was just being able to connect with different agents yesterday from all different places, which Brandon encouraged us, especially at the end, to do, just to exchange information and have a resource of other agents who are either at the same point as us or maybe agents who have more experience than maybe we do at this time. So I think that was a good aha for me, the resource to want to be able to connect with other agents here.
I love that, Jess. Thank you so much for sharing that because I think about that and someone said it to me in a sense, and I'm paraphrasing, I've made it my own since they said this, and it was, if this is where we are in this journey, right, and we all pretty much want to be on that exact same journey, not exact same, but a very similar journey where we're looking to, have great careers in real estate for a long period of time, why don't we all decide to grow old and rich together? Because one of those things is inevitable and the other one is a choice based on your actions, based on your communication and your connections, right? So yeah, that's huge. Great point, Jess. One more aha before we go ahead and get started. And as people pop in, I'll just continue to let them in. It doesn't have to be an aha from last night. It could be an aha of something that's happened since last night in the last 24 hours, maybe in your business, maybe a win that you had. I promise you, I am not going to bite through this camera.
Mr. Turner?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Turner is my dearly departed father. You can just call me Floyd, please.
Yes, sir, Floyd. So I guess the aha moment for me, and it's just more something that's happened recently in my career. Just learning to kind of be more assertive and set expectations at the beginning of, you know, of your working relationship. Because one of the things that happened to me is over this summer, I did lose a couple of clients. So it was kind of one of those reflecting moments where I had to like, okay, what could I do to make sure that doesn't happen again? Or that, you know, what can I do to make sure we minimize the chances of that happening? You know, so it's one of those things where you have to kind of reflect and be like, okay, let's learn from this experience, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, I give you a lot of credit, because most people in your spot would like to find the victim role and say, what, not what did I do or what could I change to be better? They'll say, what were they thinking? How could they? You know, I did everything I was supposed to do, and somehow they decided to go and do something else because they're bad people. Whereas you have taken the opposite approach of, hey, I've seen what didn't go right in this transaction. I'm going to take accountability and move forward with what's next, right? So that you can learn from that, so that doesn't happen again.
Right.
And I can totally appreciate that. And I appreciate you for sharing that. I totally appreciate that. So on that same vein of expectations, here are some of the expectations for tonight, right? First and foremost, let me tell you about myself and who I am. I'm Floyd Turner. I'm the assistant team leader in the Bucks County Central Market Center. Central Bucks is what we call the area, but for whatever reason, we named the Market Center Bucks County Central. Right outside of Philadelphia, just north of Philadelphia. I've been in real estate for 8.5 years. I've sold my share of real estate and found that my truest strength is in working with others and helping others build their dreams. That's who I am at the core. I really truly enjoy things like this where I can pour into others. So I tell you this, if you don't wring me dry tonight, you are not doing yourself a favor. So ask the questions that you have of me, and I'll give you the most honest answer I have, based on the experience that I have and having seen this for some time now. Fair enough? Everything that I ask is that we all stick it out for the whole 2 hours. I know that you've put this in your time block, right? And you've time blocked this very important time away from your loved ones to become a better person, realtor, all the above, right? So let's play all in. Truly appreciate that. Yeah, and let's really get into it and have mutual respect for one another, right? If you have to take a call, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Just make sure that you mute yourself and maybe even step away from your camera so that's not a distraction to others. Fair? All right. I will not be watching the chat closely, so if there's things inside the chat, please feel free to share those with me. Raise a hand, use the indicators to raise a hand there, and let me know what's happening. How's that sound?
That works.
That works? All right. All right. So we're gonna move into what we call the lead generation portion of Ignite. This is something that you'll hear as a KW agent often, actually as any agent in any brokerage, but mostly I hear that here at KW when we talk about lead generation. And this is probably, if not the most important part of your business, right? It's what fuels your business. So let's get into that. Bear with me, technology happens. You can see here, this is going to be the course that we're going to lead. You as the lead generator, the lead generation model, your sphere of influence, expanding your sphere of influence, lead generation best practices. Then we're going to do some recaps and ahas, and then we're going to create that success system. Fair enough? All right. In this segment, we're going to explore the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how of lead generation. Okay. First, let's hear about yesterday. Okay, we talked about yesterday's. I'm sorry, no, we haven't. Let's hear about yesterday's success system progress. Who can share that with me?
I'm sorry, you said who took progress?
Yes, please. Your success system.
Okay, so I guess for me, oh, so for me, the progress I made yesterday, I did reconnect with a lead with a buyer lead of mine. Um, he was a little hard to get in contact with for about a week or so. I found that he was sick, so we kind of caught up today, got back on track, and we're gonna get him in touch with the lender sometime next week so we can turn in his paperwork.
I love that. I love that. Wilbert, where are you located?
I'm in the Towson, Maryland office of Keller Williams.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us. Appreciate that. Great job staying in contact with your people, right? That's a big part of this, is the communication piece. Because life happens and you have folks like that end up being sick and things like that. And when you don't know, you don't know. So great job. Anyone else? So you mean to tell me you guys had a great day with Brandon yesterday and no one had any progress coming off of that? It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. Feel free to share your success. Has anyone had any challenges? Because I think sometimes the opposite of what we look to see for success may present itself as a challenge. What are the challenges that you've had in your business in the last 24 hours or 48 hours? Or even beyond?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Carlos.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good. I would say a challenge that I'm having is I feel like I started real estate at a crazy time, right where I feel, well, socially, I feel like I'm so used to working a 9 to 5, and now that I'm starting this new chapter, I feel like I need a mental break. But I mean, I'm from my understanding, real estate is a very social business, and I'm still working through, you know, putting myself out there, introducing myself, upkeeping conversations. So that's really where my main issue is, and I'm just starting out, so I feel like that's my first step is just get comfortable with myself and everybody else.
Carlos, I appreciate you sharing that. It's not easy for someone to come onto a forum like this and say such things. So thank you. I'm glad to know you. I'll tell you that. And
Likewise.
one of the things I would say, Carlos, and this is the way that I've found that a lot of people approach this, that's been very helpful. And it's because I'm more than certain, just listening to the tenor of your voice and what you just said, is you sound like somebody that's willing to help. Are you?
I am.
Okay. So when you take it from that approach, right, coming from contribution, as we say, and you know that you're looking to help people, it makes it a lot easier to engage. Would you agree with that?
Okay, yeah, I would. I agree.
Right. So when we go looking for things and we're looking to ask somebody for something, like, I want your business, I want to sell your home, right? That's very selfish. But when you take the approach of, hey, I want to help you sell your home. I want to help you achieve the goals that come from selling your home. I want to be a part of that. Is that a different approach?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're saying.
Okay. And I think that you have that in you, that you'd be able to do that and take that approach in your business. And it makes all of those interactions that may feel a little uncomfortable at first, a little bit more comfortable, because you know you're really there to help.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure. So I'm here. So next question would be, did anyone get a chance to meet their accountability partner? Have we connected with accountability partners so far? Not yet? Okay. All right. So that's something that we would want to do is connect with our accountability partners in order to help keep ourselves, yeah, you guessed it, accountable. right? Wait, Sean, how are you?
I'm okay. I wanted to piggyback off. What was the first question you asked? I know I came in kind of late.
Okay, no problem. I'll ask you the first question was, what were some of the successes that you've had? The second question was, what challenges did you have? And the third question was, have you had the opportunity to meet your accountability partner?
Okay. So my successes. Well, I mean, I got a bunch of potential buying clients. I did the summer sizzle thing at the office,
Uh-huh.
and with Legion, I got a bunch of potential buyer clients that I have to follow up with in the near future. So that's always good. One of my was it weaknesses or challenges?
A challenge, yes.
Yeah, challenges. One of the things that I constantly have to remind myself, like, I have a battle with my anxiety.
Okay.
Like when I'm talking to people I don't know about selling property, and I guess because I'm still very new to the business, I don't really know much about the seller side. Like how do I how do I get them to be how do I express them? I want to help them without it sounding like all I want is a sale, or you know what I mean.
I do. I know exactly what you mean. It's basically what I was just saying to Carlos is that we don't want to come after business from the point of what it does for you. You lose the momentum, you lose the client when you approach it from, hey, if I sell this house, I will have X in my bank account, versus if we sell this house, and hear the wording, we sell this house, you will then have these proceeds to purchase your next house. You will have those proceeds to invest. You will have the proceeds to build your bigger, better life. And I'm here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm compensated when I do so because I'm here to help you. Right? So when we approach that way, I would imagine that your anxiety level will not get to the heights that it typically does, because you're there to help. And if your help is not the help that they need, then we'll take on more help, right? We'll bring on our PC coach or our assistant team leader or whomever we have on our support team. That's a lender, the title company, the lawyer, whoever it is that we need to bring in, we will, because we work together. No one succeeds alone and no one fails alone. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. All right. So did you have a chance to meet your accountability partner?
Was that what we went over that yesterday, correct?
I would have believed so, that you guys were going to set up.
Yeah. Well, I gave people who are in my group. I know Brandon was on call yesterday, and he every now and then he split us up in the teams, and I gave my number out to a couple of people that were in my group, and they never got back to me. But I was asking them, can like every now and then can we check up on each other and see how we're doing, if there are areas where one of us are not doing so well in, maybe one of us could help the other person out. I don't think that you know I don't think they were receptive. I'm not sure, but I did leave my number in the chat box before I got off the Zoom.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yes.
All right. You guys good with moving on? Are you clear on what we're gonna run into today, or run through today, I should say? Did I hear a yes? Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay, got you. Got you. Okay, here we go. Who would volunteer to read this for me?
I'll do it. My fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating.
right? That's from Gary Keller, right? What does that mean to you? Wait, Sean, I appreciate you being the person that's doing the most talking and helping out the most, but I'd love to hear from some other people on the call.
Cool.
Don't worry, Wait, Sean, I'll come back to you. I'm going to say your name, and if I mispronounce it, then you don't have to speak. But if I pronounce it correctly, you have to speak. You know, I'm looking right at you, Quintana.
Hey, good afternoon, good
Good
evening.
afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking.
So this quote, it kind of means to me, it feels like this is what I'm going through. So the fear of getting out there to lead generate to me is greater than actually getting out there and doing it, because once you get out there and do it, you may find it to be very successful and not as hard or as fearful as you thought it to be.
You hit it right on. You hit it right on, Quintana. And what I'll tell you is this: as somebody who has to get on the phone every single day for 2 hours plus every day, there's days where I think to myself, nobody will know if I don't make those calls. This is me being totally transparent. Nobody will know. You know what the truth is? Everybody will know. You know how they'll know? Because there will not be the success that comes from making the calls or the text messages or the smart plans or the emails, right? Doing the thing that generates leads. When you don't do those things in the moment, it feels okay. But I can promise you 30, 60, 90 days when the results should be showing up and they don't, everyone sees that. Everyone sees that, right? All right. So let's begin today's discussion pretty much with mindset. This quote clarifies that lead generation is job number one, even if there's fear around doing it. It's the activity along with lead follow-up, which is covered later, that keeps us all from failing and instead allows us to prosper. You never stop lead generating. For the rest of your career and businesses in real estate, you will lead gen. So the question is your fear of failure greater than your fear of lead generation? I'm asking that question. It's an open question. Please feel free to share.
Hi, this is Dawn. I am driving, so I can't really do too much.
That's okay.
But my fear of failure does not have anything to do with lead generation. I just think that it's, I don't know, it's just awkward. And I've had jobs where, I was on the phone all day. So I don't know. I just think that, I don't know, but it has nothing to do with failure. It has nothing to do with failure. I think because right now I'm in a Towson office. Well, I'm kind of in between. So at this point, I guess this would be something new for me to do because I've never really done it. As far as in real estate, like I said, I've done customer service and things like that. But as far as lead generation, I've never done it. So this would be the first for me, but it has nothing to do with failure. I just think it's just something new, maybe. And I'm so used to talking face to face. So doing something over the phone is a little different for me. It's okay. To be honest, I feel like it's almost like sales or cold calls. So that's always been like a thing that I hated to do. So this is going to be a challenge, not because of failure, but because of what I've always thought that making calls like that was. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. You're in sales. You are in sales, right? But you don't have to be salesy. You know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, and I get that because I've done sales before, but I've never done sales where I was actually on the phone. All of my sales have been in person, and I love sales. I have no problem with sales. But I think that telephone sales is something totally different. And I think because I am a talkative person and I like to do things face to face. So when I'm on the phone, it's like, ugh. And I think about when people call and do sales, it's like, I don't want to hear it. So I think that's the thought in my head. So it's like, I can go out and I can talk to someone all day and I can do my sales in person all day. But when I'm on that phone, it just seems so totally different.
So
I hate it.
I'm not gonna jump ahead, but I'm gonna jump ahead, right? So then do your sales in person. It may start with a phone call or a text message to meet with someone, right? But do it in person or host open houses, host a seminar, right? All those things that put you in the same room with folks, go about it that way. That'd be my advice for you, Dawn. And I appreciate you, once again, I appreciate you sharing. That's very helpful because I'm sure there's other people on the call who have not necessarily spoken up yet, but may feel the exact same way. So I appreciate that. Robin B., go ahead and speak to us, please.
Just to piggyback off what Don says, I don't think it's the fear of failing. For me, lead generation, I have no problem generating leads, but my fear comes with coming across the lead that asks a question that I don't have the answer to because I'm fairly new as well. So that's where my fear comes in at.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The person that gave us this quote, once upon a time, he was new too. Mark King was once upon a time, he was a new agent too. At one point, I was new as well, right? And at those points in times, I didn't have all the answers, but I knew who did, right? I always knew who did. And it was the people that were supporting me and told me that they would, right? So anytime someone asked me a question, I would say, that's a great question. Let me get back with an answer. Let me get back with the right answer, right? And most people can respect that. And you may have to say that 4 or 5 times in a meeting with somebody, but they'll respect that versus when you give them the answer that you just made up based on the logic that you thought was appropriate, and then they get in their car on the ride home and Google it, and it's not the right answer, right? Saying the wrong thing, right, for the right reason will get you in trouble a lot quicker than just saying, I don't know right now, basically, which is, that's a great answer. I don't have the answer right now, but I will get that to you. And then doing that, right, helps to provide your validity. And it shows people that you are a person of your word. Oftentimes I would get on the phone, I'd be at a showing with somebody and I'd say that 4 or 5 times and I wrote down the questions and I'd get in the car and call my mentor or my coach and say, hey, they asked me this, this, and this. And before they got home, they had a text message in their inbox with the answers to their questions. Right? That's showing someone that you cared about their concerns. Does anybody disagree with me? Feel free.
I agree. And because I also like what she just said, and I apologize, I don't know who it was because I'm driving and I can't look, but I agree with what she's saying because there's been situations where just a little bit different where I've had clients, well, not clients, customers, tell me certain things about their situation. And because my mindset is not really there yet.
There's the word I was looking for. Dawn, I would have put a big exclamation point behind that word yet. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to put
good.
Exclamation point yet. And I'm sorry, continue, please.
So, I just realized this the other day because when someone said something about their credit, when I left, I was so angry because I said I could have said something other than what I said. And so I'm going to be so excited when I get to that point where it's almost second nature for me to be able to answer. Even if someone asks me something and I don't have the answer for it, I want to be comfortable with saying, you know what, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I don't have the answers for that yet. But, I want to be able to just speak as a real estate agent, as a realtor, and not as a regular person. And I don't mean to say it that way, but, it's got to flow better. And so I'll be glad when I get to that point where it just flows better. And it sounds authentic. You know, it doesn't sound like it's made. It truly, and I'm getting there. You know, I'm getting there. But I just want to, you know, when someone says something to me, it's got to be. I have to be able to just say something that sounds right. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I want to be able to respond. You know, quickly, but do good.
I have 2 points of what you said just now, right? And then I got to move on because we're a half an hour in and I got an hour and a half left and I still have 2 hours worth of material I want to get to for everybody. So it's my fault and I'm not blaming anybody but me because I see what you're saying and I want to make sure that your mindset's right moving forward. But this is what I would say. You said that you didn't say the right thing at that time. But it sounds like you knew what the right thing was later on. There's never the wrong time to share the right information. So going back and saying, hey, I had thought about our conversation earlier, and I want to share this with you because, you know, it came to my mind. I want to share this with you. Is that okay? There's not many people that are going to say no. The second part is the best way to become skilled in your conversations around real estate, something called role play. Because you don't want to practice on your clients, right? So that's why we talk about having the accountability partner. That's somebody that you can bounce things off of. And you guys can hone your skill so that when it comes time to talk to the real deal, you know what to say or a general idea around how to say it. Sound good?
Yes. Okay. I'm going back to driving.
All right. Drive safely, please. All right. So let me just say this. Lead generation is your #1 job in this business. Leads fuel your business, helping you reach the goals you have to set for yourself. The more leads you have, the more business and success you can have. Lead generations include the following: talking to people about buying and selling real estate daily, capturing accurate contact information. This includes name, phone number, email, home address, and any other information a person is willing to give you. Converting leads to appointments is very, very important. This is when you find active buyers and sellers, set an appointment to meet, and agree to work together in the buying or selling of real estate. In the next 5 days, you will learn a variety of methods to gain leads. Who's up for that? Just raise your hand or give me the raise your hand symbol in your. There we go. Okay, so I have 2 people that are willing to move forward. Okay, 3 people out of the 21 on the call that are going to be successful. 4 realtors, 4 real. There we go. Thank you, guys. I like to have fun and have a good time, and I want you to do the same, please. All right. Here are the 6 core competencies of a business. Okay, lead generation. Capture and convert to appointments, present to buyers and sellers and get agreement, show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing, and then you have to manage the money. Managing the money. Don't forget that part. It's understandable that there is a lot of fear around lead generation. Even though we all know it's the most important aspect of our business, let's be honest with ourselves. Who is having any of these thoughts as we dig into the lead generation? Yep. Kaylee, I see you. There's no pressure.
It's the last one for me.
No.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Actually, I'm gonna move. If I start asking questions, I'm gonna keep slowing this down. All right, here we go. So this is what we want to do instead, right? Because I see this, right? This was tough for all of us. On page 52 of the Shift book, Gary Keller addresses this. But I think lead generation is really difficult. I don't have time to lead generate. I don't know what to say. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Here's the truth of it all. When someone says, I think lead generation is really difficult, sorry, I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun, but it can be. Can be. I don't have time to lead generate. I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. That's the truth of it. I don't know what to say. Well, I had to get on the path of mastering the dialogue skills needed in this business. I'm afraid of making mistakes. I found that lead generation is nothing more than a set of tasks, and skills that are well documented. So everything you're reading there, that's in the orange, that's Gary Keller speaking. When he found out that this was the truth around lead generation, this is the path he took. Are you guys willing to take advice from a billionaire?
Yes, I am.
Anybody else? I'm taking your silence as affirmation. Catherine, it's almost like you gave up on us. Are you still with me?
Yes, I'm still with you. My internet is kind of going in and out a little bit, so I'm having difficulties hearing. So I apologize.
Okay, no worries. You know what? You're gonna pass.
I'm gonna say I'm still here.
All right. I appreciate you sticking in.
So yeah.
All right. So folks, lead generation is the number one big key for successful real estate agents. Doesn't matter how great you are at selling houses if no one knows you're in the business of selling houses, and if they do not feel connected to you in a way that has them reach out when they are ready to sell. Why are you in real estate? Got great news though. You already have two key components to lead generation. Number one is your sphere of influence, or as we call it, SOI, and the other is the database. Who here has heard of a sphere of influence or an SOI, and what is it?
Sphere of influence is, as far as I understand it, the people that are close to you for whatever reason, people that are affiliated with you, maybe friendship, other agents that you've come across, people in your community, people that you can add to your contact list to help you start to generate more leads and get the word out about, your brand and what marketing as far as real estate is concerned.
That's what I'm talking about, Jess. That's exactly right. Right? The people that know, trust, love, respect you. Right? Somebody that here's the litmus test that they could use. If you were in the grocery store and that person saw you, would they walk towards you and say, "Hi, how you doing?" Or are they trying to get to the next aisle, get their dog food, and get out of the store as quick as possible? Right? Or are they walking by you and ignoring you? Right? Those are typically the people in your sphere of influence. So as we're talking about lead generation, how do we access this group? The people that know, trust, love, and or respect you, how would you access that group?
Your contacts, social media, it could be people that are in your home, people you live with. If you go to work every day, that's how you reach them.
Appreciate that, Wilbert, right? Typically, it's going to be some form of your phone or an in-person meeting, right? Whether it's text, email, or a phone call. Our phones still do that, right? They still dial out. That's simply how we're going to reach us, folks. Awesome. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip this one exercise. I know that we typically want to be better about that, but we will come back to that if we do have time. Fair enough? Head shake, head nod. Okay, you're with me? Thank you. Jacob, are you there?
I'm here. I'm in and out, man. I'm sorry, Floyd.
No problem, buddy. When you're in, just be in, all right?
All right, appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. It's good to see you.
Likewise.
All right. So we already covered how many people. Actually, no, we didn't. So let me ask you the question: how many people do you have in your phone? Put in the chat for me, please. Just look in your phone. Tell me how many people you have in your phone. I think Dawn was driving. Dawn, don't look at your phone. $64, $225, $80, $569, $125, right? So that contact list that you have in there, surprise, surprise, that's your database. That's your database, right? Your social media is another potential database. I'm sure if you look on there and see how many friends you had, you guys would give me some crazy numbers about how many people you have as friends, right? If we're going to be in relationship with our contacts in a professional sense, we need to have them organized and accessible in our smart database. Through your phone, that may be smart. It's unlikely that that is your database yet. So today we will touch a bit on feeding your database. In the next session, we will cover how to make your database smart. That's not going to be with me. It's going to be with your next instructor. You have a SOI, or sphere of influence, a database. And you've been generating leads from the database by communicating with it strategically. How have you already been lead generating in this class? What tool or systems have you been using?
I'll speak, I guess. So, I mean, we did touch base a little bit like on command. So I have updated my database from my phone. It was actually really easy. I was able to download the Keller Williams app and send everything right over there, and it converted everything for me, which was kind of cool. So I've been trying to organize that a little bit. So that's really kind of helped me to get organized and actually realize how much information I don't have from people. Like, of course, I have all these phone numbers, but a lot of them don't come with emails. Our coach tells us, birthdays are important. I don't have a lot of birthdays in there. So I've been trying to like work on building some of those things for my database, just to be able to be more genuine and to be more involved with my database. And of course, smart plans too. I've been trying to learn about smart plans.
It sounds like a success system to me. Great job,
Yeah.
Catherine. Great job. So let me ask you a quick question. When you don't have somebody's email address, how do you go about getting it?
Actually, I've been finding reaching out to people just directly, shooting a message or a text message or a phone call, or even like through Facebook too has been beneficial because of course Facebook shares everybody's birthday.
That's great. You split right in. I had an admin who said, Floyd, so you're going to pay me to be a Facebook stalker? Oh my gosh, my boyfriend's not going to believe it, right? Because she was
Yeah.
only doing it for free. So that's how she uploaded my database or my CRM with all the birthdays of all the people in my database, because she got a chance to go on social media and stalk people's birthdays.
Perfect. Yep. So you got to do it.
So you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome. What are the ahas we have so far about you being the lead generator of your business, and how we might overcome some of those mindset fears about lead generation?
Being a stalker is okay. That's an aha.
Right on, Jess. Right on. What else?
You know what? Just remember when you had those 4 reasons why why people don't like lead generating,
Right.
and then you had the response, like it was and then the words in red were like the solution to whatever problems they were having. As far as the last one, just study the scripts. Like I think that I need to do that a lot more. Lately, I've been taking the initiative to reach out to my team leader, because I think another reason why I think it's so I might be having trouble is like certain things that I'm not too knowledgeable on. So I did reach out to my team leader, and I'm supposed to meet her this weekend so we can go some contracts and stuff like that. And like that's been my thing lately, just taking more of an initiative to do things and not like have people, what I'm saying, like, tell me to do it, or like, because no one's gonna hold your hand through anything. I'm kind of starting to realize that. I mean, people are there if you need them. I mean, of course, the resources are there if you need them, but like, it's up to you to use them.
So you said something that's really, really means a lot to me when I hear this. When people say, "Yeah, I just want my hand held," and that's okay if I'm holding your hand and we're walking. But if you want to run, you got to let go of that hand.
Right.
So if you want to run and take off and your business to really move, you have to let go of the hand at some point. So, hey, great job taking the initiative, right? Because the path of self-mastery takes time. Learning new habits and skills takes time. So take the time to acknowledge the journey you're on and celebrate the small wins. And I appreciate that, Sean. So thank you.
No problem.
Any other ahas before we move on? All right. Now that you've already begun the lead generating, you have a database and you have an SOI. Let's dig into the most important model in your business, the lead generation model. Lead generation. You will hear this over and over throughout your career. It really is the most important activity. It's the first thing you need to do when you wake up in the morning. And it's the first thing you really need to do to start your real estate career. If it's going to last long, this is the thing that's going to be able to make that the case. Don't give up on it. If you decide to start a team and leverage your business to the point that you are no longer involved in the day-to-day running of it, that may be the only time that you stop lead generating. And even then, you probably still will then. So think about that. What we are learning today is the foundation of a million, multi-million, and even $1 billion business. This is also why your time each day completing your daily success system, along with your peers and facilitator, is so important. You guys ready to get into the lead generation model? As you've learned, Keller Williams has a model for everything. We really do. Everything has a model, and every model has a system. It makes sense there. It makes sense that there would be a model for your number one job, right? And lead generation is your number one job.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a trick question. I'm sorry, Quintana. I think I might have got you on that one. I think I might have got you. The more relationships you have, the more business you will have, right? You can't sell business to people if they don't know what you do. This model tells us how to get into relationship with people, stay in relationship with them, and be their real estate expert of choice to buy and sell real estate. How's it work? Lead generation is simply getting people into your database so you can track your relationships with them. As you can see at the top of the model, there are two different activities that can bring leads into your business: prospecting and marketing. You can never have too many leads. A lot of leads or a quantity of leads gives you a good quality lead. You guys have your participation guide with you? If you don't, it's on the screen. All right. It's a best practice to generate leads through a prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced approach. You hear that? Prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced approach. Prospecting is proactive and direct. You are actively searching for leads. Prospecting is low-cost to no-cost methods. It'll yield a quantity of leads, which in turn gives you quality leads. It establishes personal relationships, keeps you in direct contact with the market of the moment, and increases your confidence and skill. With marketing, you are putting your information out there to attract leads through sources like social media or print ads, radio ads, promotional materials, etc. We will talk a bit more about this in some of our other sessions. So, are you guys hearing what the difference is? A big mistake agents have early on is I'm going to market myself so everybody knows I'm in real estate. Great. That should be an enhancement on the prospecting you're doing. So when you call Aunt Betsy, who's lived in her house for 25 years and should probably do a little bit of a downsizing because she's living there by herself, and there's stairs that, you know, are the equivalent of Mount Everest for her, right? That's a prospecting versus putting on Aunt Betsy's social media. I'm in real estate now, right? And all those great things that we do that are flashy. Can you understand the difference? Quintana, thank you. I see your head nod, your affirmation. I see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So this is really important. This is something that I take classes on still, right? As you gather people's information through prospecting or marketing, or have generated the lead, the next step is to put the information into your database. A database or a data bank is simply a container that holds the information for all the leads you have generated. If you are looking for a cost-efficient tool to build out your smart database, Keller Williams has you covered. Catherine, what are you using now? KW
Command.
Command. That's right. Command is more than a database. With a platform, you have access to interconnected tools to support you from lead to close, all while maintaining your relationships. A smart database provides you with the ability to have planned and meaningful communication with those in it, which keeps you in relationship. We can think of your smart database as a data bank because it generates money for you. There is nothing more valuable to your business than your data bank. You heard it here, please believe it. We use the terminology of leads and contacts to categorize people in our database. So far in your success system, you've been communicating with your sphere of influence or your SOI. People know you. I'm sorry, people you know and who know you. These people are contacts with whom you have implicit permission to have two-way conversations. Folks, I've been up since 6 a.m., so bear with me. Leads are people who have shown interest in the service you offer and have provided a way for you to contact them. However, they have not yet engaged in a two-way conversation with you. What are some examples of leads you can think of?
So Floyd, would you be talking about marketing leads or prospecting leads, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, right?
So social media posts, those are leads.
Right. So somebody that gives you their information via social media, yes, that'd be a lead, right? Yeah. Versus a contact, which is somebody that you've had two-way conversation with. Thank you, Quintana.
Referrals.
Referrals, right? That's a lead. Yep.
What about sorry, go ahead.
Okay. If what about like some real estate websites like for example PropStream, like if you expired listings on them and you follow up by like you look up their numbers. What was that? Skip tracing, and you actually try and get in contact with them and make a conversation with them with that qualifies leads too, right?
It does. It does. Thank you. So great job. Catherine, go ahead. I want to hear what you had to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, what about, hobby groups that you're in, like yoga class or, your football team, your fantasy football team. You could like pull leads from even just different groups like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see Quintana writing that down. That's a good note. Good job. Good job. Yeah. So just so we're clear, right? Our database is organized into these two buckets, leads and contacts, because the way we communicate with each segment is unique, right? So those folks that are in your fantasy football league and the way you talk to them about football may be different than the people that you're interacting with in your family or in your closest sphere of influence.
I was gonna say, I want to add one to your hairdresser or barber, because they all like to talk and chit chat. So that's like a great resource for you too.
And what's the first question they're going to ask you when you sit in the chair?
What's new? What are you doing?
What's new? What are you doing? If they know what you do, right? Because you tell them, hey, yeah, I'm crushing it in my start to my career in real estate, right? No lies there. There's not a single lie there. I'm crushing it. You know how I know that you're not lying when you say that? Because you're in this class right now. You are crushing it. You are becoming a better version of a realtor than anybody else because you're coming and getting that information firsthand. Fair? What's the next question they're going to ask you? How's the market?
I'm gonna say, where's your business cards? Let me pass them out for you.
So they're going to, one of the questions that you're going to hear a lot in your business, and I want you guys to remember this, when someone asks you, how's the market? The answer is always the same answer. It depends. Are you looking to buy or sell? Right? Oh, no, not me. Oh, who do you know that is? Or are you just looking to invest? All right, I'm going to keep moving along here because I know that I'm a little bit behind, but we're going to keep going through. Once you have a lead, you need to create a relationship with that person. For contacts, you want to sustain and strengthen the relationship. This is just an introduction into what sustaining relationship looks like, since we have a whole section on lead follow-up later in Ignite. Sustaining our relationship is what we see in the model as cultivating contacts for conversion. When we say conversion, we mean to move them from a lead or contact to an appointment. Converting a lead or contact to an appointment means that your client has the intent to buy or sell a real estate, right? So let me show you. Each time you reach out to a person in your database, that communication is called a touch. A purposely planned series of touches is called a campaign, right? And these are some of the touches that you may utilize in your business. A coordinated campaign of touches over time puts you in front and center in people's minds when they think of real estate. These touches are how we nurture and strengthen our relationships. Having someone in your database doesn't make them your client. I know that firsthand because there's somebody who I thought was my client who currently has somebody else's sign on their lawn right now, and they're in my database. And yep, exactly. So it doesn't make them your client. Reaching out to them consistently and systematically with value and deepening your relationship will lead them to choose to be your client. One way to consistently and systematically reach out to your database is through automated touches. In Command, you have access to smart plans as well as opportunities. These tools provide you with the option to automate your emails, text messages, and even set up notifications to remind you to call your leads and contacts. You guys are at a point in your career, most of you are at a point in your career where that last part that I just said needs to be the thing you never forget. You get to my point in my career where I've forgotten that, and now I have somebody else's sign in the person who I thought was my client's lawn. I'm not bitter, I'm learning. So the final piece of the model is the client and referral loop. Once the lead is converted to a contact, they can either provide new or repeat business, or they can provide referrals. Why do you think this part of the model is referred to as a loop? Jacob, are you in?
I'm here.
Why do you think this part's called a loop?
Well, if you're doing your job of actually just following up with them, I would assume that they're gonna be repeats with you in your business.
That's it. That's exactly it, right? So whether you're interacting and doing business with them yourself, or they're bringing you referrals, that's the loop that you want to be on, right? They to continue to stay in your database. It is your job to continue to build and develop your relationship over time until they are ready to transact again or provide additional referral business, right? It's funny because as a newer agent, we often think that the relationship ends at the closing table, and truth be told, that's the beginning of your career, right? That's the building and the sustaining of your career. So let's not forget that, please. So as you nurture your leads and contacts and continue to lead generate for new sources of business, you will either be transacting from new, repeat, or referral business. The most important thing to remember is that lead generation is something that never ends, should be time blocked should be time blocked daily for the best results. Determine the size of your business, and essentially it's how we'll develop a long, sustainable career. In our last section today, we're going to discuss time blocking for lead generation. But before we do that, any ahas? You know, there's some people I'm not called on yet. Carmen, are you okay to get on the mic?
I can, sure.
All right. Hey, Carmen, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
We've been together now for about an hour. If somebody were to come to you and say, hey, from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, what'd you do last night? What would you learn? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that I was taking a class so that I could have more information to share with my clients, friends, and families about the real estate business.
Love that. Love that. So give me your aha from that last section about lead generation and just talking about our contacts and our leads and so forth and so on.
Yeah, I've heard it mentioned before the difference between prospecting and what I forget
Marketing.
the other word.
And marketing.
Yeah, marketing. And I've heard that we're going to have a class about it coming up soon. So I was glad that you brought that up today. And I get it now. Now I get it a little more. But that's probably the biggest thing that I just needed you to hit home for me, is that I've got to get in a rhythm with the contacting of my my database. So I think I know it, but I need to hear it again from you over and over and over.
Well, you'll hear it over and over and over. Some people have asked me if I had to start my business all over again, what would I do? I would be in the best relationship with my database. I'd make calls to my database, all 859 people, over a year's time, at least 4 times. I'd have a 36 touch, 60 touch system where I could be in touch with my database consistently. And that's all I would do. The marketing, I throw it out the window. All the other gimmicks and all the other nonsense, I would just get in the best relationship with my database. I'm telling you folks to do the exact same thing. Right? Cool. Are we ready to move on, or does someone have another ahas that's going to help the other folks on this call? Because everybody knows what AHA stands for, right?
Like what you took away from the conversation.
Wait, can you hear me?
Alicia, I can hear you.
Okay. I think well, not but I think something that you said stood out to me. Sorry, I'm in the car if it sounds weird. Is that when people are like, "Oh, so how's the market?" Boy, that gets me every time, because like I'll start talking to people like regular conversations, and like they want to be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I do tell them like I have a 9 to 5, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm also a real estate agent." "Oh, how's the market?" And I'm like, That's amazing. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know. You know what I mean? So the fact that you were like, oh, you could say depends. Like, are you trying to sell or buy? You know what I mean? So like, it kind of answers questions all around because you're not really giving them the straight on question because then they're gonna be like, either they're gonna be like, oh, I'm interested, and you like switch like informations, or oh no, not me. And then that's when you ask, like, oh, well, do you know somebody that's interested in like selling or buying? And then you could still switch informations or they can like bring you up or whatever. So I thought that was a good point that you said, because that's my main point of why I don't tell people I do real estate.
You know that if you don't tell people you do real estate, they're not going to be able to do real estate with you.
No, I know, but I just feel like no, what you're absolutely correct. But also I feel like negative information spreads faster than positive. You know what I mean? So like as soon as they start asking questions, oh, she don't know what she's talking about, blah blah blah. They'll start spreading your name around as you don't know what you're talking about. So it's harder for you to get business instead of you start. I'd rather keep it on the down low. Let me get my information together or what I'm going to say and sound like I know something, even though I don't, and I can finesse the rest. Because that's one thing I learned. People spread negative information over positive information. So yeah, that's why I don't say nothing.
I got you, but now you can, right? Because you know the depends the answer, right?
I can. That's just the fact that you said that. I'm like, well, I had to write that in my notes.
You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it, Alicia. I promise you'll never forget
it.
That's right. Robin, I heard you about to say something.
Yeah, another point you had made was just because they're in your database doesn't mean that they are your client.
That's right. That's right. So I want to tell you that I've heard people in my own market center will say things like, "Oh, they took my client, or they took my deal, they took my transaction." Well, that's almost impossible because if it was your transaction, it would have had your name on it. If it was your client, you'd be working with them. So that just because they're in your database doesn't necessarily mean that they're your client. That's a contact or it's a lead. But until you get to the business of doing the business, they're not your client. Great point. Great point. Any other ahas before we move on? Great job, everyone. I appreciate you guys all participating. So in the previous sessions of Ignite, we've touched upon your sphere of influence today. I'm sorry, on your sphere of influence. Today, we will be digging deeper into your sphere of influence and why it is so important for your business. Here's a hint. Your SOI is likely to be your biggest source of new repeat and referral business. But how? How's that the case? Why is it that your sphere of influence is going to be your biggest source of new repeat and referral business?
Because you already got everybody's contact information.
That's going to be your warm lead.
Yeah, that's going to be your warm lead. Exactly right.
I was gonna say a lot of times too, people like your friends and family, those are like the closest people to you are often your biggest cheerleaders too. So they like want to see you succeed.
Yep. And you know how you do that, right? You know how you validate that? Two ways. When you come to things like this, go ahead and post that online. If you guys want to take a picture of something that you think is important, take a picture of that, post it online. This is what I'm doing from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern tonight because I'm so invested in my business. And then the other thing that you can do is go ahead and do a good job for those folks, right? Follow up, do what you say you're going to do. It's important to connect with your sphere of influence systematically, efficiently, and effectively. We're going to get into that over the rest of Ignite. So just hang on to that part. But in order to get the most out of the follow-up, you want to get the most people into your sphere. So here's some of the categories of people that we want to put in a sphere. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? So my apologies. One way to expand your SOI is to change how you think about the relationships around you. These 15 categories we're going to look at and see if you want to expand on the roles or the relationships you may have within each category. So you have the immediate family, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your past co-workers, your hobbies, your sports groups, your teachers, worship club volunteer, right? And then you have professional services. So what are some of the professional services we were talking about before? Catherine, you brought them up.
You know, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like yoga, maybe, you know, school events or, you know, fantasy football leagues, just different things like that.
Right.
What about, I mean, I don't know if like the chamber, you know, sometimes stuff like that is beneficial for like community events, you know, different, I mean, your communities obviously always have different, you know, events you can attend and things like that too.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give you a quick list of people, right? You got doctors, you got your therapist, you got your dog trainer, you got attorneys, accountants, bank teller, nails, hair, massage, trainer, babysitter, landscaper, painter, car detailer, housekeeper, photographer, appraisers, lenders. Any other small business that utilize your children's friends, parents, grandchildren's friends, parents, and all alike, right? What is that? Go ahead, Catherine. I'm listening.
I was gonna say, like, one good idea that our coach gave us to kind of like broaden our leads or to maybe make you feel a little bit more comfortable is um do a referral program for yourself. Like maybe offer, hey, you know what? I'm offering $10 gift cards to if you give my name out and someone sits down with me and has a real chat about real estate as a buyer or a seller. And if that person goes to closing after closing, then you know what? You're going to get $100 from me. And it doesn't have to be those amounts, like whatever you're comfortable with, you know, you can do anything. It doesn't even have to be monies. It could be like a small little gift or just like the smallest thing, you know, go to the dollar store and grab a little goodie basket or whatever you want to do. You can detail it to what you want for your business.
Catherine, you just went on mute accidentally.
We all love little gifts and to be appreciated. So I just thought that was interesting, like with a referral program, creating that to generate leads too.
Love that. I love that. So let's take a second, right? And what I'd like for us to do is to just go through this list, right? And write down some of the people that you know that meet those standards or they belong to those labels or titles. Just take 2 minutes to go ahead and do that. All right. Who came up with more than 5 names? Raise a hand if you came up with more than 5 names. Anybody come up with more than 2 names? Anybody more than 10 names? Okay. So who's willing to share some of the people that, I'm sorry, some of the categories of people that they had? Jeanette, I see you got 11. Do you want to share those categories of those people and where they exist? Is that a silent no?
I was the one that had 11.
Okay. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Oh, I had 5 from friends, 2 from relatives. I had 3 from neighbors, and the rest were past co-workers.
That's amazing. So let me ask you a question. When you feel comfortable, when are you going to call them?
I'm gonna call them tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. Because that's your SOI. And the more that you pour into it, the more that will come from that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, this system puts it right out there in front of you. Instead of in your head, it puts it right out there in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we don't allow ourselves to see it, then it all becomes blurry, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree.
I need glasses anyway.
I got you. So I truly appreciate the way you guys are playing all in. All right. So but basically to your point, we're going to shift our mindset, right? We're going to do it again. Who's ready to shift their mindset to build the best business possible? Or would we just like to stop now and hope for what comes?
Okay, let's keep rolling.
Let's keep rolling. All right, there it is. That's what I needed. That's what I needed.
Time to put that work in.
Let's put the work in. Great. I want to think back on what you guys did yesterday. We're going to just take a couple minutes to think back on it from the time you got up to the time you went to bed. When you woke up, what did you do? Did you call your mom, look at the news on your phone, check your email, wake your kids up, grab your workout clothes and go for a run? Just take yourself through your day yesterday. Just go through your day from wake up, shower, send a couple emails, get in the car, drive to get coffee, run an errand, all those things that you did. So just write those down if you would, please. All the things you did yesterday, from wake up to sleepy time. So I'm gonna ask this question. Now you've got that list of what you did all day yesterday. Who did you have a conversation with? Who was the first person you interacted with? Did you have a conversation? What did you talk about? Did you get an email in the morning? Who did you call or who called you? Who did you give an order to or smile at? Did you wave at your child's friend's mother at the bus stop or drop off? Did you smile at the barista before he took your order at the coffee shop? Did you say hi to your neighbor while walking your dog? Take a minute and put those names down or the faces down that you saw yesterday. All right, you've identified what you did yesterday, the activities and the people that you interacted with. Now I want to ask you this question. Could you have deepened the relationships with those people Could you have smiled at the neighbor and politely said, you know, we see each other just about every day, and I don't know your name. I'm Floyd. Of course you could. What about those who you didn't interact with? Could you have smiled and said good morning to the barista rather than just ordering? You could. It's time to change the way you think about your days. You aren't just running errands. You're meeting potential buyers and sellers every day. You aren't just ordering coffee. You're creating a relationship with the people who help you. And because of that relationship, you may be poised to help them the day they are ready to sell or buy real estate. It's your job to meet and connect with people. If you think about it, it's kind of amazing. There's a guy, I don't know if you guys have Wawas where you are, but we have Wawas, or they're like 7-Elevens times 100, in my opinion.
Oh no, in Pennsylvania, I think Sheets is the best.
That's on the other side of the state. That's the other side of the state. There's a healthy divide. They're on one side, Wawa's on the other. So we don't debate because we don't have the comparison. Anyway, so at my Wawa, I go for coffee every morning, and there's a guy named Steve that works there. And just being who I am and trying to be the best of who I am, I always said hi to him and said hi, and I said hi and said hi. And he goes, Floyd, you know, at some point I'm going to sell my house. Would you just give me some numbers? Yeah, I'd love to come over and share some numbers with you and your wife. Floyd, you know my son's in real estate, right? Sure. So why wouldn't you ask him? I don't know, Floyd. I feel like I trust you more. Never sold his house. He still lives there. But however, we have long conversations, and I've since recruited his son to come work in our market center. But that was just a high every day. He brought that up. I didn't bring it up. And it happens, right? It's nothing worse as a realtor when you go somewhere and the person that you were talking to says to you, hey, guess what? My house just went on the market. Got any buyers? Kidding me? You see me walking here every day with my Keller Williams shirt, and that's what you're going to say to me? And it's not his fault. It's not her fault. It's your responsibility to let people know. Right? All right. So we're going to build our SOI day by day. In this next activity, you'll be having a discussion with a partner to go over your daily activities. We are not going to do that because I am not the best with breakouts. So we're going to do it as a group. Is that okay? All right, then. We're going to go over the goals of the activities, help each other identify places where we all interact more with our SOI and get into relationships with potential leads. Who has a story similar to my story with Steve, or could have? Who's going to create a story like mine and Steve's?
I think I have one.
Let's hear it, Wilbert. Please.
Okay, so I have a 9 to 5, and I work at the collections office here in Maryland, for the state government.
I bet people love you.
It's a hit or miss. I'll say that.
All right.
It depends. So my coworker, she has a property that she is currently renovating, and every time I see her, I say hello, we talk, we conversate, and most of the people at my job know that I'm a real estate agent already. So that's because every time I come in the office, they're like, "Hey, well, how's the real estate going? Hey, how's the market? Things like that." So, but with this particular individual, I gave her my information quite some time ago, and every time we see each other, we talk to each other, and she says, "Well, don't forget, I want X, Y, and Z." And I'll say, Miss Jacqueline, I know you're fixing your property up, you're getting ready to get it ready to, you're gonna rent this thing out, and I'm gonna help you list your property for rent and stuff like that. So every time we see each other, she's always kind of reminded me, and I'm kind of, making sure I remember what she's asking for, and just You're kind of letting her know, like, hey, I remember what we talked about. And even if it's not real estate related, it could be work related. As long as we're having conversations with each other and interacting with each other, you kind of keep that person, that person kind of, you stay at the top of that person's mind.
I appreciate that. And it's because you create the intentionality around letting her know what you do. Is that correct?
Correct.
I love that. So Wilbert, thank you for sharing that. Who else can tell me how they're going to be intentional about getting into a relationship with the people they interact with daily, regularly?
I have a story where I blew it. I was at the dog park and with my dog, and people are very chatty at dog parks. If you guys wear your name tag to a dog park, you're probably gonna get some contacts. But he was very chatty about it, and he started telling me about how in a few months or a few years, or I think it was by December, he was going to move down to South Carolina. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And we talked about where he was going, all this, all that. I'd never met him before, but we talked. And then I walked away and I was like, wait a minute. If he's going to move down there, he's probably going to sell something here. And I just totally blew it. So I haven't got my mind wrapped around speaking real estate more frequently in my everyday situations like you're talking about.
It will hit you like a switch.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this: one day, which you are so close to, every real estate conversation could be a conversation you won't be a part of. You'll be at dinner with your most loved person and staring at each other lovingly over a candlelight dinner, and somebody in the back making your Swiss chard meal or whatever you're eating at that fancy restaurant will say something about real estate over all the clinking of glasses and forks and knives on plates and every other thing that's going on. You will hear that and have exactly what to say. I promise you this, Carmen, because it is the truth. So maybe not today, and maybe in that situation you do not have it, but you will, right? And when you say to that person, oh my goodness, by when will you be in South Carolina? And they say, we bought the house, or we're planning on being there by December. What are your plans for your current living situation? It'll come out so quickly and so smoothly that you'll say, oh my goodness, who said that? Right? Don't you worry.
Can I add something, Floyd, for her as well? I was gonna say referrals. Okay, I keep referencing this because I'm building relationships with other agents among other states as well. So you could have been like, well, hey, you know what? I can link you with a Keller Williams down in North Carolina, and then you could have, received a potential referral fee too, which is, I think, one of an amazing benefit as well. There's just so many different ways to make money other than just your commission checks too. So it's just an added benefit as well for us.
Catherine, that is the most amazing point, and I love that you brought that up. Do you guys want to hear the conversation? We used to call them scripts. We don't call them scripts anymore. We call them conversations. Do you want to hear the conversation for that one? So, Carmen, you're moving to South Carolina. What part of South Carolina are you moving to?
Asheville.
Asheville? Oh my goodness, that's perfect. I have a agent in Asheville who knows what the heck they're doing around selling and buying houses. How fast can I get you guys in contact?
Wow, I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far ahead yet.
Well, that's okay. But by the time you get home today, I'm going to make certain that I put you in touch with this agent so that you guys can start a relationship even better than the one we have, if that's possible. But I'm going to make sure that you guys are in touch, and so that when you get to Asheville, that person is going to be your concierge and get you all around town. Does that sound like a good idea?
Awesome. I love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate the opportunity to make sure that you're going to be good on the other side, because I'm going to take care of you here and they're going to take care of you there.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Right? So that's to your point, Catherine. Absolutely. That's what we want to do, is make sure that we're taking care of our people. So great job. So let's get intentional about, seeing that there's opportunities to help people, right? And sometimes it just starts with a smile. Cool. So this is the bold law. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. As you saw in the last exercise, sometimes all you need to do is change your thinking about something. You found more members of your sphere of influence simply by viewing them as categories of people you know versus just a list of people. At KW, in the KW, we have a coaching program called BOLD that you all will have the opportunity to experience at some point. BOLD stands for Business Objectives, a Life by Design. One of the great things about BOLD is that it helps you to create a mindset of abundance and growth. BOLD helps you to shift your mindset using BOLD laws. This is the one law that change that, and we just said it, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change, right? What you did just then in those 15 categories that we looked at was a simple example of that. We changed the way we looked at it, and those things change. Those people change inside of those. Being a successful agent isn't about finding more people to help and serve in buying or selling their homes. Being a successful agent is about finding more people to help and serve in buying and selling their homes. Don't forget that. I'm going to repeat it one more time. There was somebody that wasn't listening because their dog was barking, so I'm going to say it one more time for that person. Being a successful agent is about finding more people to help and serve in buying or selling their home. When you change how you look at your world, you will find more of those people that you can help. This is my dramatic pause right now. Did it work? All right, need some more ahas before we move on. Oh, just what happened? You got kicked out? There we go. I need an aha.
I think the aha for me is when you said to build your SOI day by day. So just to be cognizant of the relationships you encounter on a daily basis and how you can mention and build your leads that way.
That's right. Quintana, you're exactly right. If we do it every day, right? Every day, all we're doing is, hey, that's one more person I've met. Right? My friends make fun of me because my hobby is collecting, right? I'm a collector. I collect friends. Right? That's my collection. Some people collect stamps, some people collect coins. I collect friends. And I'm very intentional about it. One more aha, then we're going to move on.
This is Dawn. I just talked. So I want to say this. When you were talking about thinking about the conversation from when you get up in the morning, just being intentional about that is really it. When you said it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so serious because I talk to so many people from the beginning, from when I wake up. I mean, in the morning I pray, but from then on, I come in contact with so many people, but I don't always have that kind of conversation. And so just being able to be intentional, about what I'm doing and what I'm saying and who I'm talking to, it's a really good thing. It's a really good thing.
Love that. I love that. And these are things that you will not, I hope you don't, but it's more than likely that you will take throughout your career, right? And that intentionality. And you'll see the most successful folks in our business are intentional about the people that they're meeting. Yeah. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate you sharing that. So, we've talked about the lead generation model and why your SOI is so important. We're going to expand that SOI every day, just like Dawn just said. Are you ready to expand your sphere of influence even further? Yes, say yes. Put in the chat. If we're ready, is anybody in the chat saying yes? Nobody in the chat is ready. Okay, there we go. There we go. If there was a way to check out, and I would love to see if there was ever a way that Keller Williams could figure out if the people that are most interactive on a Zoom call, right, how does that correlate to their business? Right? I want to see that. People that have their cameras on or they talk when they have a chance to talk. I want to see if there's something to that. Or you're just a listener, and that's okay too. So I don't want to put any blame or shame on anybody there. All right. Here we go. We're gonna move along though.
I see what you did there.
It wasn't sneaky at all. All right. So one of the things we want to do is put together a good touch campaign. And what a good touch campaign consists of is several types of interactions. There's a face-to-face, there's emails, there's handwritten notes, etc., text messages, all they like. In order to complete those touches with everyone in your sphere of influence and your database, you need to have all of their contact information. So my question would be, we know we need to fill in the information for our contacts. What type of information do we need? What kind of information do we need?
I think it comes back, obviously you need their phone, their email, you know, birthday, back to that whole thing. No.
Right.
Family names, husband names, house such and such, children's names.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want all that stuff in there. If I can't get all of those things, the 4 things that I need to have to make sure that my database is healthy are going to be some of those things you mentioned, such as the phone number, the email address, their address, their actual home address or physical address, right? I'm missing one thing. Maybe even their work address, right? Yeah. Phone number, email address, right? I said that twice. Contact information is important because we want to reach out to them in various ways. Handwritten card makes a big impact. It really does. Yes, it's more expensive because you're doing a lot of them and it's time consuming, more so than an email, but a handwritten card may not be the best channel for a lot of information, but it really hits home. Imagine mailing an update on the homes that you've sold in your sphere of influence's neighborhood versus sending an email. With the email, your sphere of influence has the ability to click on the hyperlinks to learn more about the homes in the neighborhood. So just understand the difference between the two. Not only do you want a contact information, you also want to get their personal information. Why do you want to get their personal information?
Wait, what was the question?
Why do you want to collect personal information for your contacts and leads?
I feel like so you have like different reasons to reach out to them for.
That's right.
So like if you realize like somebody's birthday, I'm just making something up, like, oh, September 8th, you could send like a cute little birthday text, card, send something light to their address or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just to, oh wow, they're thinking about me outside of they want to sell my house or they want me as a client. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Yeah. So what I would say is exactly that, right? It gives you a better reason and a more intentional reason for reaching out, right? I know that I go on Facebook every morning and I say happy birthday to all these people, some of which I've since forgotten how I know them. But I know that they know that I do real estate because we're friends and they see me. And when I reach out to say happy birthday, they're still following me and paying attention to what I'm doing for the next 6 or 7 days because I cared so much about their birthday. And I don't just write a text that says happy birthday, confetti, horn, and balloons and the cake. I go and put a GIF in there, right? Because everybody else has that one liner, and there's Floyd with his big GIF of Superman saying happy birthday and blowing out candles or something silly along those lines, or Garfield or something, right? Because I want to pop on that feed. So when they go through and they look back at their birthday and everybody that said hello and happy birthday and all those other good things, I'm going to stand out. So what type of personal information do we want? I just gave you one. We can cheat on this test, guys. I just gave you one.
Anniversary dates?
Yes.
And birthdays.
Yes. Quintana, good job with the cheating. I appreciate you participating because, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I'm just kidding. I had a coach that said that to me once, and I said, whoa. I don't know if that's good sportsmanship, coach. If you know somebody's birthday, what could you do?
You send them a card, or you can, give them a phone call if you want to call them, or
Right. Is that the same thing for their kids' birthdays or their pets' birthdays and their anniversaries and all that? You can do the same thing, correct?
Yep. Same
Thank
thing.
you. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. So when it comes to like our sphere of influence, what's one way that we can find out some of those dates?
Social media.
Social media is one. What's another?
I was about to say social media is the biggest one because it's kind of weird for you to just reach out. Hey, what's your birthday, by the way? Like, it has everything on there. I'm like, you can look the person up, find their birthday, send them a little, because everything's technology nowadays. So you can send them a little gift card, happy birthday, whatever.
Got it. I told you I hired a professional stalker, so I don't want to say she's professional. Actually, she was because I paid her to do it, and she did it. So yeah. But here's another way. Simply ask. And when they say why, one of the things I like to say is, hey, I want to be able to send out cards every year, and you're somebody that matters, and I want you to be on my list of the cards that I'm sending out. Is someone going to say, please don't do that? I don't want to matter. I don't want your card. Please don't send your card to me. Right? So that's one way. Another reason you would ask for their information would be, hey, I know like you love to keep up what's happening in the neighborhood. I'm going to be putting out a newsletter via email every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. That's going to allow you to know what's happening in our local market. And if you have any questions, you can ask me or refer to that newsletter. Hey guys, you don't even have to create that. Command does it for you. It's called a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. Every 2 weeks it gets sent out. Quick story, I had somebody call me and say, Floyd, I'm so glad you sent this out. We were just looking at the house down the street. It's time to sell the house that you sold us. And we want to buy that one. In my mind, I said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll be there Tuesday at 6 p.m. Or is Wednesday at 9 a.m. better? Right? Because I want to sell your house. But because my weekly neighborhood nurture was going out, it was touching my clients. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's talk about some other ways to expand our SOI. Strengthen the casual connections, such as when you're at your kids' events and things of that nature. You're not going to like everybody, right? There's going to be parents that you just don't see eye to eye on because their kid tripped your kid 4 times up and down the soccer pitch, right? There's going to be those, but that doesn't mean the rest of those folks can't be potential clients. Yes or no? Catherine, your only face I can see right now, so I'm going to say that's a yes. You saved everybody.
Yes.
Yes. What are some other ways? Let's take a look. Join groups. I know that you talked about the fantasy football leagues. Speaking of fantasy football, I got at 8 o'clock, guys. I'm a hard stop. The Eagles played 8:15 tonight, so I'm out of here.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
That's right, Alicia.
I'm watching it now.
All right. So joining groups, like Like you could, I mean, if you're a fan of the sports scene, that's one great way to interact with people. Help make sure they know what you do. Referrals. Always going to love the referral. One of the easiest ways, if not the easiest way to really build a big business is have enough referral partners sending you business. There's a gentleman in New York who does 100 million in volume every year, and 25 million of that comes from, guess what? Referrals. It's right there, guys, referrals. Right? Because he's created his network so big and so wide that anybody that's leaving New York or moving into New York wants to call Seth first because they know that he's going to get the job done. And he knows the people that are going to get the job done on the other end. So referrals, great way.
Just so we know, there's a new New York agent in town right here. It's going to be taking over that.
Okay. What part of New York you at, Catherine?
Upstate New York. So outside of Rochester, I don't know.
You guys are in different worlds. You might want to be in touch with him because he's in Manhattan.
Yeah, a little out of my league right now. Yeah.
Hey, it's in your league because you have referral partners.
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right. I'm going to read this for you guys because I want to keep us moving. Gather leads from your sphere of influence. And here's what we do. I'm building my business on people I know and the people they know. Do you know of anyone from family or friends, work, your neighborhood, or group you belong to who's thinking of buying, selling a home, or investing in real estate? I'd be pleased to be a resource for them. If you hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind and let me know right away? I'll take this a step further. And what I do, I don't want that type of introduction. The introduction that I want is one where I say to that person and let me know right away. Matter of fact, would you mind putting me in a three-way conversation via text message, introducing me to that person? Because in doing so, we're all going to be responsible to this conversation. When I text Quintana and I say, Quintana, I want you to meet Carmen. Carmen is the best realtor that I know in, where you at, Carmen? Where you from?
Maryland, Westminster, Maryland.
In Westminster, Maryland. I need for you to reach out to her, right? Because I've put her on this group text. This is my introduction. I want you guys to be friendly. I know that you have a need. I know that she can fulfill that need. Whatever that text looks like, you're putting all of us into it, right? Because when Quintana doesn't respond, well, I'm going to respond right away with, or I'm sorry, Carmen's going to respond right away with, hey, nice to meet you. But when Quintana doesn't respond, Carmen's going to text me on the side and say, hey, what's up with your friend Quintana? I'm like, why isn't she responding to me? Now I'm going to go back in that group text and say, hey, I see that you haven't had a chance to respond to Carmen. You're still looking to make the move, correct? Right? And that's a softer handoff. That's what I want my folks to do when they're sending me referrals, is to put us all in relationship right away in a way that's responsible. Sound good? We've got 9 minutes left and I am running behind, so we're going to edit. You guys okay with that? I went way over. One aha, and then we can move on. Why do we care about birthdays? Anybody have an aha around birthdays?
Birthday is a moment to reconnect with our potential leads and clients.
I'm going to pronounce your name, and if I do it wrong, you don't have to speak again if you don't want to. Fair?
That's fair.
Afifa.
Afifa. I was going to say, everyone's gotten it right so far. Afifa.
I was trying to use the Y instead of the I. All right, you're off the hook.
Okay, I appreciate your efforts.
Appreciate you participating. Thank you, Miss Kish.
You're welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'll be quick. My aha moment was definitely the one with Carmen. I definitely share that. I've had a couple moments that so I'm glad I heard that because I mean that was the most yeah, that was just an aha moment for me.
I love that. I love that. So, and I appreciate you participating. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate when you pour back into one another. Agents helping agents. Here's some of the best practices for your lead generation. You want to track your lead sources, right? You want to know where they're coming from. You want to audit your lead sources, diversify your database, and be consistent. Tracking your lead sources lets you know what you want to pour more money into, right? And when you audit the lead sources that are not, you're taking those out. Diversify that database so that you have a lot of people in a lot of different areas that are covering more ground and in the places that you probably won't be. And then be consistent about tracking, auditing, and diversifying. Fair enough? Lead generation time blocking. One of the things I do every day from 9:05 to 11:15 is I create my bunker. In my office, I can't turn, this is the office. I shut the blinds. I put a sign outside the door that says, "Do not disturb. I'm working on my one thing." Everybody respects that because they know what that means, right? That's when I'm doing my lead generation. I prepare my mindset. I know that my fear of failure is greater than my fear of lead generation. And then I'll go through a quick practice script. Sometimes I'll have a practice partner with that. And then I go through my call list, which I typically prepare the night before. And then I take action and I start the conversations. And then at the end, I maintain my database and the follow-ups. And what I mean by maintaining my database is when I speak to somebody, I document it inside of Command. I take notes inside of Command. So when I go back to speak to that person on the follow-up, I know where we left off. Or I know if I need to not respond to that person or follow up in this time frame. Fair enough? So we build bunkers, right? That's me shutting the blinds and, putting my sign up. I have water in here. I have my coffee. I make sure that my phone is on silent or do not disturb. And then I let everybody on my team know that this is what I'm doing. And if somebody needs something, that they may come to them for it because I am unavailable because I'm doing my most important work. It's the same thing for you. Any ahas around that? So let me ask you these questions. How has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new?
I'll share. I did like that list that you had for us with the breakdown of all the different ways to lead generate. I did, of course, know a lot of those things, but one thing that stood out to me was past coworkers because that's like a category I hadn't thought about before. And I do have a couple of, past coworkers that I'm still in touch with. So it just kind of was a different way for my thinking than what I have been thinking a little bit. So thank you for sharing that. I also want to shout out to Carmen in regards to the dog park comment because that's kind of stuck with me as well because I'm a dog mom and I love that idea. So thank you.
Love that.
I think for me, when you talked about marketing and prospecting at the same time, because I thought that I'm new to real estate, just got my license about 2 months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you. I was like, I'm just going to market on social media. That should bring me the leads that I need. But one point that you did say is to do both to help build your lead generation database. So I think that's important.
Wonderful. Any other ahas?
I think for me, I'm not too sure who was mentioning how that whenever they're they just do a better job in speaking with people in person, and how you recommended just having an opening house or meeting them in person. I think for me that really hit the spot, because I'm better in just in person with people. So just going out and doing that, if that's what it's going to take to start that lead generation.
There it is. Anyone else? I want to thank you guys so much for being here, not just for yourselves, but for one another, right? When we talk about ahas and our agents helping agents, that's what it's about. And you share these things. I heard so many people mention other people's names because of things that they heard, right? And understanding that you may have the same limiting beliefs or the same challenges that somebody else has, and knowing that there is a system, there is a model to get through it. So know that, please know that. All right, so quickly, I just want to go through the daily success system that we can use around this. So I'm going to ask this question. You know what? Let me back it 1 second. All right. So with your sphere, how many conversations can you have in a day? It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
10.
Oh, yeah, 10, right? And from your database or the I'm going to tell you guys a secret. All the answers are going to be 10. It's 1, and I'll tell you right? So these are the things that if we're going to be successful, if we could do these on a daily basis, not if we could, when we do these on a daily basis, will help us be successful. We are up against it right now. Hey, the one thing I do need to tell you, and it's most important, is the do not call list. We have to be TCPA friendly, right? If you do not know what that means, please take a screenshot of this screen or take a picture of this and adhere to it. Finally, this quote. Actually, can somebody read that for me?
I engage every conversation in the
I
spirit.
engage every conversation, spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be relationship with me.
We can read it more than once, right? That's quite all right by me, right? Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Jacob. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Actually, how about this? Somebody else give me an idea of what that means to them.
I think it means if you're authentic and genuine when you're speaking with people, that it's going to create a better bond and connection for you in your business.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When you engage every conversation, and we talked about in the beginning, right? When you are there looking to contribute, right? To help someone versus coming to someone with the idea of you will get me $12,000 if I sell your house. Because that's self-centered, right? When we come from contribution, when you sell your house or when we sell your house, you are going to have the opportunity to move forward in your life. That's what that means to me. What questions do we have? What ahas do we want to share before on our way out?
Floyd, can I ask you to share your contact information with us, please, in the chat, maybe?
I mean, I guess I should, right? Sure.
Thank you in advance.
No problem. And I share this with the hopes and full on belief that you guys are going to reach out to me if you ever have a question or a need, because it's really why I'm here. I want to teach this class for that reason, because I know what it's like to be where you are. And there was a lot of people that helped me along the way, and that's the spirit of what we do here at KW. So know that you can never bother me, right? You can never bother me. Send me a text, email me, call me. I'm here to help.
Floyd, we need your birthday, your home address. Just put it all out there.
Love it. I love it. You know what? That's
Facebook
perfect.
profile,
That's
whatever
right.
you got.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was good.
I got you. Oh, that's awesome. That's somebody that was paying attention. Anything else? Talk to me, folks. I'm not going to give you the year of my birth because I'm old, but that's a date. It happens every year. Thank you all for being here once again. Any questions, please reach out, and have a great night. I can't wait to see all your successes.